Hi everybody, welcome to Source Inspired Speaking. If you're wondering why I didn't have a video out a couple days ago, it's because I had a power issue. Our power went out and I didn't get to record it, and then schedule got me backed up. But here I am, and I've got an amazing message for you. It really moved me. I don't even know what to say about it. I think you just need to hear it because it's simple and yet so powerful. So please sit back. Remove yourself from any distractions. Listen to these words, and I'll check back in with you after the message. Hello. Thank you for joining us here today. Today we wish to speak to you about the most important thing in your existence, and that is love. You see, in your world so often, love is not understood or is perceived in a distorted way. And so often you see it as an external force which you must crave and seek to find and win over from people. But love is something much greater than that. You see, you are God's love, made physical, made manifest in this reality. It is through God's love that you exist. And therefore, if you are a manifestation of God's love, then you are a direct manifestation of God. You see, when we say that you are one with God, this is what we mean. You are the love of God made flesh. There is no separation. And you only still exist because you are made of God's love, and God never stops loving. And so if you are a manifestation of God's love, then you don't need to seek love outside of yourself. The myth of seeking love, of trying to find love, is what drives most humans mad. Because what you are seeking is yourself. Even the concept of loving yourself feels like there's something you need to do to experience love. But if you can just allow yourself for one moment to understand that you are love made manifest, that you are that which you seek. Humans spend most of their lives seeking love and seeking God, and if you understand that you are God's love, then you seek neither of those things because you understand that you are that. This world being manifested of love means that you are enveloped in love, that you are surrounded by love, that you cannot be separate from God's love, because to be separate from God's love means that you no longer exist. You can't win God's love because you are that. You can't find anything outside of yourself that's going to make you feel worthy, because God's love is the highest form of creation. That love that emanates from the divine creator. There's nothing better than that. That is the greatest creation that God could have, is love. And if you are that manifestation of love, then there's nothing that you can seek above you. You are the greatest expression of God there could be. And there's no action that you can take that makes love greater than it is. When you can perceive yourself as the truth, that you are this divine love, then you seek nothing from this world. Because what can this world give you that is greater than that which you are? And when you desire to have something so strongly in this world, it won't be a desire of need anymore. It'll be a desire of expressing that which you are. So you will still have desires, but they will not be wants or needs. They will just be expressions that flow from you, from that which you are, because you'll understand that they are the same thing. And so you will explore life through God's love, no longer trying to satisfy God or get love from other people or seek things to make you happy. You will just be love in a loving environment. And everything is so beautiful when you realize the truth of who you are. Everything that you've searched for your whole life is what makes you even exist. So we wanted to share this with you because it's so important to understand that nothing on the outside can fill that desire, that need that you feel that you have. Because that hole that you feel within is that space that you've created separating yourself from the truth. But when you release that, when you stop creating that space that takes so much energy and effort to create, that perceived separation of you and God's love is what makes you tired, because it's not an easy perception to hold. When you are made of God's love and you are surrounded by God's love, do you know how hard it is to perceive separation? That's why you are tired. That's why you get sick. Because that illusion is very hard to hold. And yet you are also very good at it. But what if you could just let that go? That's why your sleep is so important. That's why your meditation is so important. That's why your relaxing is so important, because it brings you into that space, often without you even realizing what's happening. And you realize that you are God's love, that you are surrounded by God's love, that there is nothing else that can touch you but love. And that is a beautiful thing to experience. So we thank you all for joining us. We thank you for remembering these truths about who you are. And we surround you always with God's eternal love. I think that's probably the most beautiful message I could give, that I could receive, that I could feel. To feel that coming through is so powerful. And in these times when everyone seems divided and there's so much anger going on and fear, and to just remember that we feel this way because we are trying so hard to perceive something else but God's love. And that getting to where we desire to be is not about obtaining, it's not about working towards it. It's about stopping that effort to create that space, about stopping telling yourself that you're not worthy, that you can't be God's love, that this world is too messed up, that you've done too many things wrong to be God's expression of love. You create these stories to help cement this reality that creates this space where we suffer. And yet, the truth of it is, we are that which we seek. Everything around us is made of it. We are enveloped in God's love always. We can't earn God's love. It's nothing you can get. You don't get it by being good. You are it, always. And when you feel that deep within, it's powerful. So I hope you can experience that. Take the time to just sit in the quiet and think about what that means. What if you are God's love made manifest? What does that mean to you? How does that change your perception? Because it sure changes mine. And if you can just take some time to do that, maybe some of this walls start breaking down and some of that effort that we do to create this reality gets released, and you can just breathe and just be in the moment. So please, if you like what you heard, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of any upcoming messages. If you can love that like button for me, it helps me out, helps other people find me. And the most important thing is that you take the time for you, because there's so much going on in this world that we do for everyone else, hoping that we'll get something back in return, and yet that's what we seek, is who we are. We're seeking the truth of ourselves through the world outside of us, because we choose not to believe that's who we are. So we want the world to convince us somehow that we are God's love. And yet, the world can't do that, because your perception of the world comes from the fact that you don't believe you are God's love. So it starts and ends within. And it doesn't take work. It takes release. It takes faith. It takes believing that God knows what it's doing, that God loves with such force that it could create realities. That's powerful. So thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this message. I'll see you next time. Bye.